Hello, hello, and welcome to another Saturday of Pepper Plays. I am here with my spouse,
That's
Diva,
me.
Divatacular. I'm Pepper and the Pepper Plays. And for those of you tuning in for the first time or watching on YouTube for the first time, Pepper Plays is a segment in our streaming life where I play video games I've never played before. And you know, uh, Diva thought it would be a good thing for me to do to expand my video game um, repertoire.
Repertoire.
Repertoire, and it has worked a lot because in the beginning I just played Diablo 3. Well, I mean I played Diablo 2 before, but those were my video. And not that I didn't like. I played. Um, Obviously, I grew up in the age of Nintendos, and so I played, early NES games. We had a ColecoVision, so I've absolutely just dated myself. Um, we didn't have an Atari, we just had the ColecoVision. Played a lot of Burger Time, which is a fun game. Anyway, so that is the idea. So if you visit our YouTube channel, you can see past episodes of games that I played. I've played a lot. I really seem to enjoy roguelike or rogueliked games. They're exactly the same. It's just some people prefer to say roguelike, and some people prefer to say roguelite. Some people might make a distinction, others do not. Anyway, and so for first time, I'm playing what we are playing Rimworld with
Yeah.
a mod on it that lets us play together
Yeah.
because the game itself is not a multiplayer game.
It is
Correct?
not inherently
We
multiplayer,
are
correct?
not playing chess today, Aaron. But thanks for tuning in. Yeah, we're going to play Rimworld, which is a simulator game.
It is a colony sim.
Yeah, a
Yes.
colony sim game. And I don't think I've played any simulator games. Have I?
You have not.
No, And so I'll let Devo will probably do a lot of talking because he has played Rimworld before. And I got the idea last week or earlier this week. He was watching, weren't you watching Northern Lion play with a friend?
I was.
And I was
Yeah.
like, I thought that game was not multiplayer. And he's like, they're using a mod. And I was like, we should totally do that. And he was like, okay. That's how things happen. Get a giant sloth. Have you played Rimworld, Aaron?
It's pretty fun, but it's one of those types of games that
Hi,
like you have to.
hi, annoying dog. I have nothing for you. You've already had your Saturday breakfast meat, so that's all there is today. I was a bad mom and didn't get you any other things to chew upon, so I'm sorry. You'll survive. I know it's hard. Okay, so Diva, talk to us about the game.
So we're gonna start just with a little basics. So this is a colony management simulator, um, which means that we have you're basically controlling a number of colonists that you have like pseudo direct control over. The hope is that you set everything up and then they do everything autonomously.
Mhm.
So let's just sort of go over some of the most important menu is going to be in the bottom left corner labeled architect.
Okay.
This is where you give the bulk of your orders from. So if you click architect, it'll bring up the little sort of over menu, which
Mhm.
has a bunch of tabs. The orders menu is where you're going to go when you need your colonists to do something rural. So like mining, hauling, cutting, harvesting, chopping, hunting, taming.
And so I can assign specific colonists to do these tasks?
Yes.
Okay.
And so usually, well, so yes and no. So it's a bit of a complicated process. But like when you want something done, so like let's say, so if you come over, lost your point. Where are you? There. Move. Do you see my pointer?
Yeah, I see Diva. Mhm.
sort of follow me up to the left.
How do I do that?
So the easiest way that I do it to move the camera is using WASD.
Oh, okay.
A and D move left and right, W and D move up and down. So over here to the left, you see these little bushes. I don't know if you can see it when I highlight things.
Yes, I can. It's red.
So do you see these little berry bushes? So if you mouse over them and then click on it, it'll bring up a little infographic that says berry bush.
Oh.
And then it will give you the context options for when you click on it. So we can either cut these, which just removes it from the environment, or harvest them, which will, because it's a berry plant or a berry bush, someone will come pick the berries off of these plants.
So if I click H, harvest, and I have to click the bush as well?
Yeah.
And then
keep going. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, and then will it randomly assign a colonist to do that, or do I assign a colonist to do that?
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But in terms of what that does is it tells all of your colonists, hey, someone needs to come harvest this. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So it puts it in a queue of things that need to be done. I'm just going to go over the rest of the architect stuff, and then we'll talk about work priority.
Okay.
The second important one, if you click back on architect,
Okay.
is the zone tab.
Okay.
It's right next to orders. And the zone tab shows you all of the various areas that you can manipulate in the game. The two most important that you will use the most often are stockpile zones, and stockpile zones are just where you keep your stuff.
Right on.
At some point, we'll build a storage barn, and that's where we will keep stuff. Same with food. Like we'll want to designate a separate area for food so we can keep it cold. And you do that with stockpile zones. You can also do some fun stuff with stockpile zones because you can like give certain zones priority with certain things, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
The grow zone is the second important one because that's how you grow your food. And that you basically click on grow zone, you highlight a little area, and then you get to pick what you want your colonists to plant.
Oh, fun.
And then the home area just tells you where your colonists will do home tasks. Things like repairing. They won't repair things that aren't in the home area. They won't clean in areas that aren't the home area.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. Building roofs is important. Because did you see the Fallout event?
Mm-mm.
Did I talk about that?
No.
So like I had a toxic Fallout event.
Oh no, yeah, you did. Mm-hmm. And they had to be inside.
Well, they just had to be under a roof, and so like I sort of extended the roof of my colony out further than it needed to be.
Oh, right on.
And so it keeps things from falling on them like rain and toxic fallout, but it also keeps things from growing underneath it. So like if you put it over a bush, that bush is going to eventually die because it doesn't get any light.
Okay, so before you keep going,
okay.
I do remember that this game has different difficulties, correct?
Yes.
And I'm assuming you've started on a pretty basic difficulty.
Yeah, so we picked, there are 3 AI, oh my god. Someone. So there are 3 AI architects, is what they're called. And each one handles random events differently. Can I actually look at them? Who do we have? So the 3 architects are Cassandra Classic, Phoebe Chalix, and Randy Random. Cassandra is generally the sort of straight-laced build. It's the one you want to do if you want like the sort of medium difficulty things happen. The progress curve is basically a straight line.
Mm-hmm.
And she's overall is pretty standard survival.
Oh no,
difficulty.
what did I do?
What did you do?
I don't know. Can I hit escape?
Did you just like open a menu? Oh, you hit deconstruct? Yeah, you just hit escape.
No, it's still there on my mouse.
Right clicking also gets rid of things on your mouse.
Okay.
Phoebe is sort of the nicer one. Her difficulty curve is much more of a curve instead of a straight line, so it'll be easy for a while, and then it'll start ramping up faster at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then Randy Random is random. All of the
Oh.
events are very random. And so this time around we went with Phoebe on the adventure story difficulty, which is not the peaceful. So peaceful is where you don't get like any peaceful
Raids
is
and stuff.
no raids, no
No
negative
angry
events.
boomalopes or whatever they're called.
Yeah. And then community builder is the second difficulty, which is just much less of all of those things. And adventure is sort of the baseline experience.
Oh, okay.
So we went with the adventure. If it gets too tough, we can always turn it down. But
okay.
So that's where we're
So
at.
that so there's
difficulty.
that. So there's that level that you can customize in this gameplay. And then before we get any further though, what is the overarching goal of this game?
So the goal in this game, if you follow the story, quote unquote, is to get off planet.
Right.
And so you're basically need to either build or find a ship and get off planet. Like that's the end of that is the official end of the game.
And so you've watched people play this game on like the hardest difficulty, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Which is like living in some sub-zero area of the map and.
Yeah, I watched a video. I didn't watch the whole thing, but it was a guy that did. So there are 4 different starting scenarios as well. There's the one that we're doing, which is sort of the basic one, which is 3 shipwrecked people, and you get a baseline amount of starting materials, and you get 3 people. There's one that's tribesmen who are exiled from your tribe, which I think is 5 people, but you get a debuff to technology research, but you start with a lot more stuff. There's the rich philanthropist, something or other, rich adventurer, where you
funny.
start with a lot more material and a very good person, but you only start with 1 person.
Oh, okay.
And then there's the naked.
You
dude.
did that. Is that what you did recently?
I did. That was the one that I just did.
The naked colonist?
Yeah, where you literally start with nothing. You start with a guy who was naked with no items, no nothing. And that got a little challenging, but the one that I watched was him doing that on the hardest difficulty of Randy Random in a desert biome. And desert biomes are especially difficult because there's no wood, and wood is sort of like your baseline crafting material in the early game and mid game.
Okay.
So zones.
What's the down?
What's the
S?
down?
Is S down?
Yeah, S is down.
Okay.
So your left hand, I would highly suggest resting your 3 pointer middle ring finger on ASD.
Okay.
And then just shifting your middle finger up to W when you need to move up.
Okay.
And you should just sort of leave them there.
Okay.
Because everything else you can do with your mouse. Yeah, you can use keyboard shortcuts, but whatever. Never use keyboard shortcuts. If you need to zoom in and out, you just use the mouse wheel.
The scroll, yeah.
Yeah. So then your basic building tool is the structure tab, which is how you build walls and doors.
Okay.
As well as bridges, but I don't think we really have to worry about bridges for a while. The production tab is the other more very important tab, because it's where you build the
materials?
stations that do things.
Oh, right on. Okay.
So like there's a tailor bench, there's a stove, there's a stonecutter's table, an electric smelter, the research bench, like all of those are going to be. And then as we progress in the technology tree, this is where most of the advancement shows up. So when we need to make more advanced things, they'll show up there.
Awesome.
Furniture is your general bedroom and dining room decor. So beds are, sort of important. Oh, it's also where lighting is. Lamps. And torches if you want. Torches. I've never used torches.
Fun. And now you have played several different types of games like this, right?
Sort of.
Sort of?
This is sort of the only one like this. There are a bunch of games like this. Like, the most closely associated one is Prison Architect, which is very similar.
Oh, I guess I was, because you play other like construction-based games where you're building things and like the
Yes, but those are very different, like Factorio and
Yeah.
Satisfactory.
Yeah.
That's a very different genre, but the construction aspect is similar. Yeah.
Okay.
Security, you don't really have to worry about. Miscellaneous, we only really have to worry about if we need to dig graves. Floors, obviously, is where our floor is at. Floors is, however, where we do one of the mods I downloaded is a mod that gives us the ability to till soil, because we're in an advanced society. You'd think the people understand that tilling soil would be better than just planting crap in the middle of nowhere.
What?
So to make a little, so when you make a grow zone, you want to till the soil so it grows better.
Right.
Recreation, these are things that you really only ever need to build one of, but recreation is very important for your colonists because recreation equates to happiness. And then ship, we don't have to worry about, but that's where the ship parts will show up at the very end of the game. And then temperature is how you keep rooms warm and or cool.
Oh, right on.
I think in where we're at in the world, I don't know that we'll have to worry about coolers because it doesn't get too warm, but we'll find out. So, all right, so I'm going to unpause the game. We'll let our colonists land, and then we'll pause again and do some preliminary work. So there come our people.
Oh, right. They've come off of like some pod or something.
Yeah. So basically, the storyline is that these people have been in cryostasis for who knows how long, and they woke up in an escape pod being jettisoned from an exploding ship.
Well, that's not disturbing at all.
Yeah. So the two first things we want to do is we want to set up a stockpile zone, because for whatever reason your characters generally won't use materials if they're not inside of a stockpile zone.
Okay.
So if we sort of look at this map, it looks like we have some ruins to our bottom right.
Is that what I'm looking at right now, where they've landed, or what is that? This brown structure.
These are just rocks. So the easiest way to tell what your mouse is looking at, if you don't have any menus open in the bottom left, is to look at your bottom left. Undiscovered usually just means that it's the inside of a mountain, and you just don't know what's in there.
Okay, so this says undiscovered. Oh, okay, I see. Soil.
All the relevant information, yeah.
So we're going south over here. Oh, I see.
Yeah, so you see that little like leftover building
limestone
materials.
Tile, sandstone wall.
Yeah, so like this is a building that somebody built at some point, and it's now basically rotted away. So we are going to, I'm going to claim all of this, which turns this into our home area.
And how are you doing that?
So if you click on any of these walls or any of the tiles and highlight it, it'll give you some context.
Oh, and then you hit the claim?
Yeah, and then you hit
it doesn't matter which one of us claims it because we're playing together?
Yeah. So we're just going to claim all of these walls because we'll use this as sort of the basis of our base.
Oh, I was helping.
You're fine. It's important to claim structures like this because it means that our dudes will start to repair it. Speaking of our dudes, so the next most important tab next to the architect tab is the work tab.
Okay.
So go ahead and click on that.
Oh, so it tells us about our... So
I'm going to turn on manual priority. I don't know if it shows you that.
Yeah, it says check.
And this is where we assign work priorities to our pawns.
Oh, okay. So Sandra is a barkeep, Lloyd is an entrepreneur, and TJ is a professor.
Yeah, which is hilarious because I'm pretty sure TJ is like 24.
Awesome.
So the easiest way to do this is if you, to figure out what people should be doing, is if you mouse over each of the individual numbers. So the actual work areas of work are firefighting, being a patient, which is like if you are hurt, what's your priority to like lay down and rest?
Doctor.
Being a doctor, bed rest, which is if you're so patient is like if you need something done to you, if you need treatment. Bed rest is if you're hurt. How often do you just like
Right.
sit
Basic,
and rest?
dealing with normal stuff.
Basic is things like turning things on and off. There are a couple other weird basics. Warden is prisoners.
Oh.
Handle is animals, which includes hunting, I believe. Oh no, there's hunt. Handle is just like dealing with your trained animals.
It does seem complicated, doesn't it, Andrew? Have you ever played this, Andrew?
The setup is very complicated, but once you get going, it all sort of flows together. Like a lot of this, you only have to deal with once, and then you'll never touch it again. Cooking is obviously preparing meals. Hunting is hunting animals.
Ooh, go ahead. My girl Sandra is working all the things.
Sort of.
Well, yeah, the handle part is
but
will not do.
So hold on, we'll get there. Construction is obviously building stuff. Growing is obviously growing stuff. Mining is obviously mining stuff. Plant cut is harvesting plants, which includes chopping down trees. Smithing, tailoring are the related things to those workbenches. So there's a tailoring bench and a smithing bench. Smithing is basically weapons and things like that. Tailoring is clothes, obviously.
Right. Art
is related to the artist bench. Crafting is sort of the general thing outside of the smithing and the tailoring bench. So there are a couple of other things that use crafting. Smelting, making drugs, the refinery. Hauling is moving things from wherever they were to a stockpile. Cleaning is obviously keeping the area clean. And then research is how we will discover new technology.
Okay. I was Andrew says that he's thought about playing, but it seems far outside of his normal type of game.
It is outside of Andrew's normal type of game, and it's one of those games that it's like
But you guys play Satisfactory together, don't you?
Yeah, but this is I would be cautious to compare this to Satisfactory and Factorio because there's a human element to it.
Oh, okay.
A character element to it that neither of those games have.
Oh, that's fair.
And so I like this game because it's a game I can play sort of passively with spurts of action in between. So it's like, I love it that I can just, especially if I just don't want to play something that requires a ton of attention, I can just sit and sort of like relax on my phone while it sort of runs in the background. I love that. It's not a game I play all the time.
No, okay.
But it's
so then this is telling us what these people will and won't do. So like, for instance, Sandra will hunt, but she won't handle animals.
Right. And
how does that work? Like, I'm going to kill it, but I'm not going to do anything after.
Just because there isn't this is where we assign people their work priorities. So just because there isn't anything in that box doesn't mean you can't make them do that. There are characters that have areas that they will not do. I made sure that none of our characters had any of those. Okay.
So what are these little extra symbols in the boxes?
So the flames dictate how passionate that person is about that given area. 2 flames is very passionate. 1 flame is sort of passionate. No flames is not passionate. And that dictates if someone is doing something that they are passionate about, they get a mood buff, as well as the more passionate you are about something, the faster that skill goes up.
Excellent.
So now this is where we want to rate priorities. Firefighting is one of those priorities that should always be a 1. I always rate people being patient as 2. Same with bed rest. I think bed rest is a pretty good 2.
Okay.
And so the important things are doctoring. So we want people. So if you move your mouse over their respective boxes, you can see that Sandra has a medical skill of 8. Lloyd has a medical skill of 9. And TJ has a medical skill of 4. So that probably means we don't want TJ to be a doctor
Right.
most of the time. We should still have him because his medical
Well,
skills
how did he end
okay.
up with a 4 there? Did I do that?
I did that.
Why is it a 4 then?
So this is the priority. So you prioritize the work that they're going to do from 1 to a 4. 1 being the most important, 4 being the least important.
Oh.
And on this list, the highest priority is on the left and the lowest priority is on the right.
Right on.
So firefighting, if you put someone 1 in firefighting, that means it is the highest priority of the highest priority job.
Oh, okay.
So if there's a fire, anyone that has a 1 in firefighting will literally drop whatever they're doing to go firefight.
Okay.
Which is important.
Got it. Okay.
And so the further you get to the right, the less important the job is, and the higher the number you put in the box, the lower priority that pawn will take that job as.
Got it.
So we want TJ to be able to doctor because his doctor skill isn't super low, but we only want him to doctor when Lloyd and Sandra can't doctor.
Right. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So go ahead and click Sandra and Lloyd to make their doctor priority a 2. So left click lowers the number, which increases the priority.
Okay.
I always keep bed rest at a 2. Basic we can leave at a 3. We'll probably need to adjust basic depending on what gets done.
Right.
Wardening, it looks like everyone has an okay social skill. I don't know that we'll need to worry about wardening until we actually need to use it. So we'll just leave
Lloyd
that
is
the
a
way
5.
that it is.
Average
Yeah.
and relevant skill 5 out of 20.
Which is fine.
Do we need to give him a number?
No.
Okay.
If you don't give someone a number, it means they won't do that job,
Got it.
which is fine.
Okay. So what about handle?
Handling is another one of those things that we just need to find who has the highest
2.
skill. Yikes.
Yeah.
Which is
TJ's
TJ.
a 3.
So we'll leave him with his priority 3 because handling isn't super important. Although we do have a donkey, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
We do.
So he's the only one that's gonna muck with the donkey.
Yeah, well, let's leave it as a 3 though,
Okay.
because TJ also has the highest cooking. So cooking is super important because that's how you feed your colonists.
And he likes to handle animals, so it means he'll handle dead animals?
No, that's hauling actually.
Oh.
But we do want him to cook.
Where's hauling? Oh, over there.
It's way on the right.
They all do that.
So we need, but we need him to prioritize cooking. Like cooking is his job. He is the chef.
Oh, that's a 7. Sandra has a 6.
Sandra does have a 6, but TJ is also passionate about cooking, which means he'll learn cooking.
So do we
faster.
need to up his priority for that or keep him at a 3?
So let's up his priority for that. Like that should be cooking. So you should have at least one colonist that is a 1 in cooking. Because if it isn't a 1, he will take priority with higher priority things.
Right.
And then you run the risk of just not having any food.
Which is bad.
Which is very bad. And cooking should be a relatively high priority, so it's good to have a backup. And because Sandra has a 6 in cooking, I would put Sandra as a 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Hunting is okay. It looks like Sandra's really the only good hunter, so I would kick that up to a 2.
Okay. Constructing, she's passionate about constructing, so
She's very passionate about
with a
constructing.
skill
So
of 4.
I would kick her up to a 1 in constructing because we need constructors. And same with TJ, because he has a high construction.
Oh, yeah.
And then Lloyd doesn't have a bad amount of construction, so I'd put him at a 2 in constructing.
Okay. And grow.
And now we're on to growing. Growing is equally as important, and we do have someone who's passionate in growing, so
Lloyd should be a 1.
He should be a 1. And then I'd put the other people aren't bad in growing; they're not great, but TJ is pretty bad in growing.
Yes,
so I would put him at a 4, just because if he has nothing else to do. Yeah, and so if you have someone who doesn't have a good skill, it'll outline it in red if you give them a priority in it.
So what should we do? So Sandra, like a 3?
I would put Sandra as a 3 or a 2, because 5 growing isn't awful, and so we want her to do it. We want it to have a higher priority.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have it under wardening. So right now, warden and basic have a 3.
Oh, right on. So I should make
lower priority. I would make it a higher priority than wardening and basic.
So a 2?
So I'd give it a 2.
Okay.
Mining is one of those skills that's important but annoying. I would put everyone as 3 in mining. Plant cut is a very important skill, but it's also relevant to the growing
Lloyd is very passionate about
skill. So
plant cutting.
yeah, that's all Lloyd, and I would put Sandra as a 2 as well, and then put TJ as a 4. I would put Lloyd as a 1 because growing and plant cutting sort of go hand.
Okay. Smithing?
Smithing and tailoring fall under like the crafting skill, I think. Yeah, crafting.
5. So Lloyd is passionate about it, but he has a skill of 3, and Sandra is not passionate about it, but she has a skill of 5.
Yeah, so I would put Sandra at a 3, and I would actually bump TJ, who has an 8 crafting skill, up to a 2.
And what about Lloyd? Give him a 4?
I would not have Lloyd do crafting.
Okay.
Because crafting, when you like smithing and tailoring, the relevant item you produce is the quality of the item you produce is relative to their skill.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So the higher the skill, the higher the quality. The lower the skill, the lower the quality.
Got it.
And so I'd give TJ 2s in both and Sandra a 3 in both.
And who am I giving it to?
TJ, because he has the highest skill.
Yeah.
In smithing and tailoring.
Yeah. And Sandra should have a 3 in tailoring? No, she has a 5.
Yep.
And oh, and Lloyd not at all.
No.
Okay, art. She's passionate. She has a 5.
I think 3 in art is fine. We're not going to be making a lot of art the first handful of time.
Okay.
So
crafting
is the same as smithing and tailoring. So our art is fine. I would leave that row empty, or the way that it is.
Oh, TJ has a 8 in crafting.
Yep. So I would put him. I'd keep the smithing, tailoring, and crafting all in the same priority level.
Okay. And leave the other 2 empty.
You can put Sandra at a 3 as well. Because you need someone who is willing to do it. Because if TJ is cooking, he's not going to be crafting. So we still need someone to be able to craft. Hauling is one of those important skills. It looks like Lloyd is going to have the most amount of time because he's not wardening, handling, cooking, hunting. He's growing stuff, but once you plant
we should give him a 2.
That's sort of it. So he should probably be our number 1 hauler.
Okay. And everybody else at a 3?
Well, now that I say that, no, move him back up to a 2. I would just have 2s down the board. You can also right-click on a number, and it'll make it go the other direction.
Okay.
And then I would put cleaning as a 2 for everyone, because cleaning is one of those things that the dirtier the area you're in is, the lower people's moods are. It can also have adverse effects, like if your cooking area is dirty, people can get sick.
Right. I like how TJ is the professor, and he has a 6 in research, and Lloyd, the entrepreneur, has an 11.
I mean, that's just how it works, right? It's like if you're good at it.
So we should make Lloyd a 1 in research?
So Lloyd should have a 1 in research.
Okay.
And then I'd leave TJ at a 3, and Sandra is not a very good researcher, so we'll leave her where she is. So now if you look at these rows, what this means is, so the way that this works in a practical sense is when a pawn says, I need something to do, it will start in the far left and look for 1s.
Oh.
So like Sandra, so like the game starts and Sandra will start at firefighting. Are there any fires? No, not going to do that. What's the next one? Construction. Is there anything that needs to be constructed? No. It'll then run out the rest of the line. Then it'll start back at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
And look at the 2s. Do I need to be a patient? No. Is there anyone to doctor? No. Bed rest? No. Cooking, hunting. It'll go all the way to the end. Then it'll loop back to do 3s. And that's how work priority functions for the pawn.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I can get out of this menu?
Yeah. So now we're done with that. We don't have to worry about the schedule. I've never messed with the schedule in all of my hours of playing this game. We'll worry about the assignment stuff when we get to like winter, because the only thing I use the assignment manager for is assigning clothing. Because sometimes pawns are too stupid to put on winter coats in the winter. we'll worry about that. The next important tab is the wildlife tab. This is the easiest way to see what animals are on the map, because this will give you a list of all of the animals that exist on our current map.
A donkey.
Not the animals tab.
His
the
name
animals
is no wait.
our...
Shut up. His name is Yahoo.
His name is Yahoo, the donkey. The animals tab is the animals that are currently part of the colony. So we have a 6-year-old female donkey named
Yay.
Yahoo.
Her name is Yahoo. You're talking about wildlife.
Wildlife.
Okay.
Shows all of the animals on the map.
So
this is important because this is how we get meat. So,
right on.
On this thing we have, it'll tell you the name of the critter, the gender, the age, and then there are 2 red X's. This is the fastest way. This is the fastest way to assign your hunters to hunt. The left X is hunting and the right X is taming. So like we could go tame some alpacas if we really wanted to.
There are none though. It says 0%.
There are 4 alpacas. The percentage is, if you mouse over it, is the chance this creature seeks revenge upon being harmed by an attacker at
well,
rifle
how do you
range.
know? Where does it tell you how many are there?
I see 4 of them. I can count them. 1,
Where?
2, 4. Do you not see alpaca, 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 alpaca? 1 male, 3 female. They're all adults.
No.
There's a crap ton of bucks, a handful of does. So we'll want to do that because we have a ton of critters who are 0%. 0% are critters that will never fight back.
Except for this cougar.
Yeah, so if it has the little
she's
face,
gonna.
If you have a critter that has a face, that means it's a predator. And occasionally, if there are no other, this happens a lot in the winter. If there are no other creatures on the map, they will hunt your people. So you just have to sort of be careful about that.
There's some raccoons with a 2% chance.
Raccoons are mean. Same with the squirrels.
There's a tortoise with a 2% chance to harm the attack. What?
Yeah.
Guinea pigs, a boom rat.
Boom rats are hilarious.
Hares. Squirrels are mean. What the H?
Yeah, they are.
So that's it. We have squirrels, rats, hares, boom rats, guinea pigs. Do boom rats explode like the boomalope?
Boom rats are just smaller boomalope.
That's funny.
They absolutely explode and will start huge fires when they die.
That's great. Okay.
And then the rest of the tabs are... The research tab is our research tree.
Okay, so...
We don't really have to worry about that. But...
Now what is the priority is getting the first priority.
So our first 2 priorities are setting up a stockpile area so that we can start hauling stuff to a central location. And then our second priority is going to be to close in this little ruin so that we can make some beds.
Right on. To clean it out too, right?
Yeah, yep.
Clear it out.
So the first thing I would suggest is let's make a little stockpile area.
Where do we do
outside.
that? Like over here?
I would put it relatively close because the amount of time it takes your pawns to move from where they need to take it to where it needs to go
so
is
maybe
sort of relevant.
Over here to the right?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Okay, so how do we do that?
So you go to Architect, and you go to Zone.
Okay.
And you go to Stockpile Zone.
Okay.
And then it'll make you'll see a little Create Stockpile Zone, and then you just click, hold, and drag, and it'll make a zone that's as big as you want it to be.
Oh, well, that's fun. Is that too big?
No, that's
7 by 10?
Yeah, that should be okay for now.
12?
We'll have to change it when we actually build
13 by
barn.
7?
That's fine.
Okay.
The important thing to know about stockpile zones is things that are left outside or uncovered will slowly deteriorate.
Right on. So it needs a roof?
So we need to, so at some point we'll need to build walls around our little stockpile area.
Okay, how do we do that?
We'll get to that. But for now, let's just do that.
I have an eye bogey.
Gross.
Why do you think eye boogers are gross?
Boogers are gross? So now let's go back up to, this is another little thing. Back up to where our colonists are.
Oh, hold on. Surgery here.
Jesus.
Well, it's just hindering my vision.
You're just like making a bunch of noise on the mic.
Is that better? Oh, hope that did it. Okay, sorry, what are we doing?
So go back up to our pawns. And you'll see a lot of items that have little red X's on them.
Okay.
Things that have red X's are basically not you're instructing your pawns to never touch those things. And that's obviously a problem here because we want them to have that stuff. Because these are all things: wood, steel, the food,
Silver.
the silver, the weapons and armor, and the medicine all need to go to our stockpile.
Component.
Components are important in building.
Right, okay. So now what do we do?
So we're going to start allowing people to grab these things. So if you double click on a single item, it'll highlight everything of that item.
Okay.
If there isn't multiples, then it doesn't matter. And then you just click the allow button, and the green check mark means that they'll pick it up. The red X will go away. Do you see it? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just want to allow all of these things so that our pawns will grab them and move them back. While we're here, we should probably equip people. Who's our highest shooter? So
It's
the next
Sandra.
way that you analyze, the next easiest way to analyze your pawns individually is if you click them.
Okay.
It'll bring up their sort of short form bio in the bottom left.
She's 32.
The log will tell you things that they have done or that have happened to them. The gear button tells you what clothes they're wearing, but it also tells you their comfortable temperature range, which gets very important in the summer and winter. It'll also tell you their resistances and what they're carrying in their inventory.
Oh.
The social tab tells you her relationships with the rest of the colony, including any biological relationships.
So she's friends with, what is it, Shunloyd? Is that?
Yeah.
Is she shunning Lloyd or?
No, that's his name.
Shunloyd. Okay.
Yeah.
And and Thomas, TJ. So she's friends. So nobody hates each other.
No.
So that's good.
Yeah. The bio tab will give you her actual stat breakdown.
Oh, that's nice.
It'll give you her traits, what she's incapable of, and then all of her actual stats and all of the
She's a
relevant
quick
skills.
sleeper and tough.
Quick sleeper is such a great modifier.
She needs a lot of rest though, right?
The opposite.
Oh.
Because it increases her rest rate, so she gets rest back faster.
Oh, fun. Very low expectations.
Yeah, and then needs is their mood, and then mood is relative to their mental break thresholds.
Okay.
Because once they go below a certain mental break threshold, they can have a mental break, and then they will become useless to you for a set amount of time.
Oh, good.
And then the way that you increase and decrease the moods are the bars on the left. Their food meter, their rest meter, recreation, beauty, and comfort are relative to the area that they're around, and then their outdoors meter. And then their health obviously is what's wrong with
I
them.
think that's good though. I think like that a video game is incorporating mood as part of the survival, I think is good. Because
So I'm just gonna let
this stuff happen.
Yeah. So I unpaused the game.
Oh,
So
okay.
Everyone needs to eat. So they all grabbed a packaged meal and are eating. Oh, they're gonna repair first. I don't want you to repair first. I want you to
Stockpile?
Yeah, so so this is where you can start giving people direct commands. So if you right click, I would wait on Lloyd, because if you give him any commands, he's gonna stop eating. And we don't want him to stop eating.
How do we know
So
he's eating?
Well, he's holding up a little
food
packet.
packet. Okay.
And if you zoom way in on him, there'll be a little bar underneath him as well. So now that means he's doing something with that item.
Got it. Okay. So we're giving TJ and Sandra specific directions?
Yeah, so like click on Sandra, and we want them, at the very least, the food and the wood to the stockpile.
So how do I do that?
So click her, and then right click on what you want her to do. So we want her to move the food. So then right click on the food. And one of the options will be prioritize
Hauling.
hauling
Oh, okay.
package survival meal. And so click that,
Okay.
and then that will redo her
Priority.
priority. So now, because on her, if you select her, it'll tell you what she's doing. So now she's gathering package survival meal, hauling inventory.
Okay.
So I'm going to do the same thing to this guy.
TJ?
I want him to prioritize hauling the medicine. And then we want Lloyd to haul the wood. Sandra, where are you going?
I don't know. What is she doing? I told her to do that.
Yeah, do it again. I've had this happen a couple times.
What do I do again?
Select her
I
and then
did.
right click where you want her to go and or what you want her
Oh,
to do.
right on. There she
Yep,
goes.
So they'll gather up what they can and haul it to the inventory.
Oh, she just haul her. She grabbed a whole bunch of stuff.
There's also a mod that I downloaded because they used to only in the base game they would only grab one thing at a time,
Well, that's obnoxious.
and that got obnoxious.
I agree, Andrew. Machines are way easier than people.
Okay, so while they're repairing this, they're gonna do this, so we're just gonna let it go. We need to set up a second hauling area to get all these rocks out, because they won't actually relocate rock chunks, unless you define somewhere to put them.
So where do I go to architect?
Yeah, so go to architect, go to zone,
Okay.
and then make a stockpile zone like up in the left corner, just sort of away from the base, because chunks are sort of useless. We'll
Oh.
make walls out of them eventually, but
So like over here?
yeah. It doesn't really matter how big it is, as long as it has enough room for chunks.
Okay.
And now we're going to define what goes into that stockpile zone.
How do we do that?
So click on the stockpile zone. So left
Right click?
to get out of the stockpile menu.
Nope. Now I'm just making
Right-
stockpiles.
Right click to get out of the stockpile
You said
menu.
left click.
I did. I forgot that you still were in the stockpile menu. So now left click on the stockpile zone.
Okay.
Click on the storage tab at the top of the little box in the lower left.
Okay.
And then it'll bring up a menu of what that storage area will hold.
Oh, right on.
The fastest way to do this is to click the clear all button. Oops. I suppose I could let you do that. And the clear all button will remove everything from this. Scroll down to the bottom to where it says chunks
Okay.
and click the little X to make it a check mark.
Okay.
All of these menus are drop-down menus. And so if you needed to like specify specific chunks like granite chunks or sandstone chunks, you can click that little arrow next to the chunks, and it'll expand it downward.
But we don't care right now which type, just
But,
chunks
yeah,
in general.
We don't care. Yeah. And then people won't automatically move chunks to those zones, so you have to tell them what you want them to do. So highlight all of these chunks. Just click and drag.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
That's good. And then one of the context menu items should say haul things. Just click on haul things.
Oh. Okay.
Yep.
That's all I have to
then
do?
Yep. And at some point they will move all of those out of there.
But right now they're just working on repairing?
Yeah, we'll just let them do that for now. So our next step is we want to enclose this area.
Okay.
I'm going to deconstruct these two sarcophaguses. Oh, they're steel. Ooh.
Is that what those are? Those... Oops, sorry.
Yeah. If you ever need to deselect something, right click.
I am right-clicking.
Oh. Well, just left click in the open area, I guess.
Okay.
So we need to enclose this area because people don't like sleeping in areas that are not covered and not
Okay. Not
that
enclosed.
Are considered indoors. Yeah.
Okay, how do we
and so
do
we
that?
already have doors, so we don't need to make any doors. If you go to the architect tab and then structures, we have wood. You didn't grab very much of it, but that's okay.
Do we need to make a wall?
So yeah, so click on wooden walls, and we just need to fill in the gaps in these walls. We'll go back and reorganize this to be a little more usable space later.
Where are the gaps?
So do you see how this? Do you see the outline of this building on what you think
I
it used to
do.
be? Let's fill in those gaps. So like I can give you.
Like here?
I can give you a little.
Like that?
Yeah. No building. And this will enclose this room in.
What's up with this donkey? Where's he headed?
Wherever, man.
What's going on, Yahoo?
So you need to build a couple more just to enclose the rest of the area.
Well, how? I don't want to make a door there so they can get to the storage.
You sure can. And then close up that extra gap with another wall.
Do we need a door here?
It wouldn't hurt. I mean, we're gonna retool any of this anyway. This is mostly just for like tonight, tomorrow, until we actually start building structures. And then you need to close up the diagonal.
Oh, there's a squirrel
holes.
and a bunny.
Already distracted by the wildlife.
What? So do we need to put a roof over this, or?
Well, you need to complete the walls because you have walls that are not.
Well,
completed.
they got stuff in the way.
But you can still tell them to build there, and they will.
Well, why do I need to? I don't understand why I need to.
Because walls that are diagonal are not connected.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
I know, that's why I told you. And so you have one more wall on the right side that needs to be connected.
That's what I say unto you.
I would actually cancel that wall that you just put because that's part of our stockpile zone. And
how do I cancel it? Deconstruct? Or cancel?
Cancel. As long as nobody has started work on it, you can cancel it. Otherwise, deconstructing takes something that is already constructed and breaks it
So I
down.
have to put it on the inside?
I would put it on the inside. And then, luckily, our colonists are smart enough that once an area is considered an indoor area, they will automatically put a roof over it.
Oh.
Like that.
Well, go ahead, TJ. Do we need to fix the floor in there?
We will. Eventually. The only thing that dirt floors do is they just make it get dirty faster.
Yeah. Well, this looks like there was some tile, but some dirt has grown over it, right?
Yeah. And so now, if you click out of all of your menus, if you mouse over the inside, it has this. It'll tell you that it's inside because you'll see constructed roof.
What's
Yep.
Sandra doing?
Probably wandering. She's going for a walk. That is how they increase their recreation if there's nothing else to do.
Okay. Wasn't there more stuff they needed to bring back?
Yeah, they're going. TJ is bringing back more wood.
Oh, Sandra was just taking the long way? Oh no, she's just going for a walk.
Once they grab the rest of the weapons, we'll equip them.
What is that? Is that a turkey?
Yes. I mean, you can click it. It's turkey. It's 2-year-old female.
Interesting. We need beds?
We do need beds.
Sure, we should do that.
Yeah. So if you just want to build, or tell them to build 3 beds inside the roofed area.
Do I need to do the architect thing?
Yep. I mean, that's where the beds are.
Do I need to do a bedroll or just a bed?
No, just make regular beds.
Wooden bed?
Yeah. We will eventually have enough wood. It'll yell at you because we don't have enough wood right now.
45, not enough wood.
Yeah, but the wood, there's still wood waiting to be shunted into the stock.
I just put the beds wherever I want?
Yeah, I mean, make it, put it in a way that makes sense to you.
Okay.
Because eventually we'll probably turn this into a common room when we actually start building bedrooms and whatnot.
Right.
And then since they're whining about recreation, I would build them a horseshoe.
Outside?
Pin. Yep.
Where would that be?
It is under recreation in the architect tab. And then the little areas, the little white areas are where the people need to stand. So you may want to make sure those are not blocked. Saving.
Okay.
I have the autosave set to save every half day, so.
Oh, okay. And so the days kind of traverse like they did in Stardew Valley-ish?
Sort of, yeah.
I mean, not the same relative ridiculously speeding through everything and then all of a sudden it's nighttime.
Right.
And then 28 days later it's winter.
Kind of. The months in this game are 15 days. So a year is technically 60 days.
That's weird.
And so they sort of combine quarters. So right now it's April, May. Which is also spring.
April, May?
Yep.
Oh, that's what it says. The 6th of April, May.
Yep.
Funny. And then when they're tired, do they automatically go to bed?
Yep.
There's a squirrel in the storage. Oh, Sandra was building the beds.
Yep, so beds are constructed, so now they have somewhere to sleep. They'll haul this stuff, and then they'll probably go back to the rest of the items.
Interesting. What a weird game.
Yes.
And how did you come across this game? Because you've been playing it for a while.
I don't remember. I'm sure I saw someone streaming it or something and decided that I wanted to play it.
Because I know I've, participated in your colonist drama from time to time.
Colonist drama is best drama. Okay, so now we're gonna Sandra is our best shooter.
She's not gonna kill a bunny and the squirrel. Oh,
she could, if you told her to.
Well, what are you having her do?
So we just dropped off all the weapons.
Oh, right on. So we should equip her?
Yeah, so Sandra should probably have the rifle since she has the highest shoot skill.
Right.
Lloyd has the second highest shoot skill, so he should have the pistol, and then we can give TJ the knife.
The knife?
Yeah.
Oh, how do we do that then?
So just click on the person. This is the only thing they won't do by themselves. Click on the person you want to equip it to.
Oh, okay.
And then right click on the weapon and say equip.
She's like, oh, okay.
You can also select people from the list at the top.
Oh, the squirrel is sleeping.
The squirrel is sleeping. Oh, Jesus.
What? What happened? What's going on?
So when you get events show up on the right side.
New lovers? What? Who's hooked up already? TJ, dog. TJ charmed? TJ charmed Sandra by making an observation about bell peppers. Sandra responded well and is now TJ's lover. Are you even kidding me? What?
And now back to the days of our lives.
She was charmed because he made an observation about bell peppers? What the H? TJ and Sandra now went to sleep together. Consider assigning them a double bed. So I have to build another bed for them?
Yeah, I was not expecting them
That
to...
was fast!
That was super fast.
That's not even
Like,
the first day is over.
Yeah, it wasn't even the first day.
Oh, look, the little donkey is sleeping. Yahu's sleeping. What's up with the squirrel? He's a healthy male squirrel.